There was never any ruling out of parallelism in my life because it is not possible at all that anyone would have never sensed the descending of real Lord Vikramaditya Ram from 21 light years away from Earth. Even when there was no social networking sites during 80s, you must have seen Lord Ram property dealer and Lord Ram registering in that location GPS or 3D maps. Lord Ram had opened that fake Lord Ram or surname superimposition had opened car accessory shop also. Near metal forgings. And ambitious lips was already present there, along with A to Z and CTV already started A to Z coaching centers. There are many minds which keep quiet just to watch from a distance. Since they have immense money or sources, they keep on performing experiments without exposed. Someone is trying to beam me, but without preview, I will never accept the beam. Since many vulgar people are present in India belonging to mosque demolition group. In head-to-head also, preview feature should be added. No answer. Hi 11-9. How are you? When I was 4 years old, sometimes I used to sense presence of anonymous people around me. Muslims are very tricky. Through Reiki, they can find out the reincarnation of any person. Not just past reincarnation. When a person dies, they can find out where that person has taken rebirth. Even when that person is a child, they will find out. Without reaching that place, without meeting that person in life, or watching picture of that child, or know the family name. They can find out the location and surname. Along with the name of hospital and the room number also. Christians believe in reincarnation research only. That's why I told Andrew Womack that if Christians don't believe in reincarnation, then according to you, Dr. Walter Samke and other reincarnation experts and non-believers Or they aren't Christians, they have transformed their religion. What should we think about them? They are neither non-believers nor they have transformed their religion. They are Christian believers only. And since they have studied medical degrees and read about reincarnations along with experimenting with the soul, they have proved rebirth in a different manner, unlike Hindus who use yoga and deep sleep along with dreams. And when person wake up from the dreams, the woman who provide them hypnotism ask some questions. When the person is closing the eyes also, she wave her hand above the mind of that person, and whatever dreams he had received in past 1 hour, he start disclosing those dreams in partial sleep. And that girl is also a popular reincarnation expert. But she is not experimenting on the soul. When the person dies, the energy comes out of his body in the form of soul. Muslims can do that also. And Sikhs can find out the name of the person by opening their book and concentrating on their mind, and they can find the name of the person written in the topmost sentence or anywhere in the Guru Granth Sahib, and they will point at the name and they will know the reincarnation of that person. So reincarnation is common on all the religions. मैं वेब डिजाइनिंग करता हूँ. Then that girl said when she returned from the office, she is continuously looking like that only. I said, what is the reason? She said, alertness. If a girl keep on watching in a straight line, then she is more alert about the stalkers, about the chasing vulgar people, and that's the method she used to prevent or protect herself. Then she said, I will buy a pepper spray. Then I said, your thinking is totally different. She said, even if there is a high probability of criminals and vulgar people, stalkers, I can't change myself. I used to help any person in need without a fear of betrayal or attack from them. Then I said, okay, faith in the God can make you more stronger, but it is very risky to approach strangers. Similarly, I said, okay, when I had exposed a culprit in the class, I accompanied a girl and she regarded it as chasing her. She was afraid or she witnessed me, and then she started staring at me and I discontinued after 4 days or 5 days. But I had found her safe. I didn't sense any culprit's friend or associate in the bus. Through human by electricity and my own alertness and watching the eyes of every passenger. Since that is the only method. If you are not close enough with any girl and you want to secure her without providing any hint to her, and what will you do? You will check the co-passengers through their human bioelectricity or eye contacts or movements and body language, and when your presence will be felt by that girl, either you will expose or provide clarification that you were chasing for any good cause, not for any bad intention. What will you do? Nothing. You can't do anything. The investigators and spies have contracts from their bosses. They are licensed detective agencies. And if the police have these kind of people, they show the contracts of the investigation agencies. And even then, if the police is not satisfied, they visit the office. And the boss has to provide handwritten letter from the client at that moment only. Otherwise, that person will be treated as stalker and he can be nabbed. But if any detective agencies is performing without rules, that is their own risk. And if the letter of consent is not available immediately, they can't arrange it afterwards, then the person can find in danger also. That's why no person perform spy from the spy task from the. You can't follow anyone. If your schedule is common, then you can prove through coincidence that the person met me in the bus or in the way. Since I was also traveling in the same direction, or I had some task in that colony or in that market. If your family members, classmates aren't devoted towards you or they don't have blind faith in you, then it can be a danger also. I predicted that danger. I was already aware of that danger, but that was my way also. I used to live there. I could have proved that I was traveling towards Sundar Vihar, and there is not any marginal difference in the route through Madhipur, Punjabi, Paschim Vihar and Janakpuri, Vikashpuri, outer ring road. So that is an exceptional case. Since my house was on the same route of that girl, there wasn't any danger at all. But If the classmate itself is fearful or suspecting, then there is no sense in continuing the surveillance or helpful attitude. That's why I discontinued after 4 days itself without interacting with that girl, and she was suspecting me. I couldn't explain that just because your prostitute utilizer friend isn't exposing his sins to you, and you came to know through my shouting in the class, and that person can incite violence on you through GB Road criminals. And that was my assumption during the midnight, that I had disclosed a sinner in the class who had confessed at randomly or just because unknown reasons. Without lie detection test, I can't find out those reasons in present life. It is impossible. How can I find out? I want to find out the reasons. That why did the culprit confess to me only? There are about 28 other classmates and mechanical trying also, and about 60 classmates in our 58 classmates in our section, and half of them were mechanical drawing and half of them were studying biology. The culprit could have exposed to anyone. Either he was suspecting that I will feel hatred towards that girl who used to talk with him. He was already expecting. He was already suspicious or known to of my attitude or behavior or sequential acceptance of friendship or any kind of selective nature. It means he was aware that I used to avoid the friends of friends also. That was obvious. Nothing was hidden. You can find out this type of psychology of anyone. If a person spoiled any person's name and any other person supported him, I was against that person also, and these kind of attitudes. And if a person initiated any vulgar group in the class, like Gagandeep Karthi, who initiated a group named SKRF, and he wrote SKRF on each and every bench when there was no student in the class, using the compass. And he wrote SKRF, and when I found SKRF written on my bench, I wasn't annoyed. I didn't inquire anything from him. But when the teacher went out, he wrote it on the blackboard and then sat near my bench. I said, "What is this SKRF? Why are you writing it everywhere?" He said, "The meaning of SKRF is specialist in kissing, raping and fucking." He said, "It's ridiculous. Why are you writing it on the blackboard and spoiling the whole class like that?" And I found many supporters. Slowly their group started increasing, 4 to 5 to 6. I didn't complain the matter to the teacher. There was no sense in complaining any matter to the teacher, just because of the unity in the class. Since the teacher wouldn't have believed, or even if the teacher would have believed, taking into consideration the majority of people supporting that foolish person, no girl was also resisting. Even the girls were feeling comfortable. The girls were not complaining, and he had unity of boys with him. It seems difficult to have any particular friend. Then we had to opt for commerce students. Then I started interacting with commerce students also. It was an opportunity for me. I don't think negatively. Whatever wrong comes in my life, I used to take it at once. And there was many friends who cooperated me a lot. Not just in studies, and we mutually studied together, but during traveling also. And sometimes when those persons are required in my family get together also, they were always invited. I didn't invite those science students for Jagran also. Only art student that was friend of commerce students were invited just because of SKRF. What is that SKRF? I don't respect these kind of SKRF students. And the extent of deterioration of character of those who were selecting alumni was proved when beside me he was also selected in COSA as a COSA member. So the person who initiated SKRF in 91, 92, 11, 12, that is a gang group only. That is not any normal group. If any word like rape is included in any group, that should have been banned and those persons should have been confiscated, and they are juvenile criminals only. They should be treated as juvenile criminals, and you are recognizing them as COSA members. It is so ridiculous. You are shameless people. In spite of, along with supporting prostitution, you are supporting a group named SKRF initiated by that foolish person. Means you are specialists in these kind of acts, and even then you are recognized by the teachers. That is so ridiculous. I am totally against these kind of schools and these kind of teachers also, who respect them. And now in Facebook he managed to get support of Charu Virmani also, just because of his MNC profile. She is a shameless girl. She used to accept any person in her life. Even during school days also, she was not bothered about the character of persons. She was bothered about her own. And she didn't accompany anyone. In class, she was united with all these gangsters. That's why I used to avoid her. I didn't interacted with her. That's why I didn't. In spite of knowing that person initiated SKRF, if she was involved in conversations with his friends also. In spite of knowing any other person like Balram Karg was utilizing prostitutes in GB Road and stealing my bike accessories, if that girl is utilizing. मैं वेब डिज़ाइनिंग करता हूँ. And that is the problem. And now when any girl is feeling troubled and no classmate is accompanying her till house and she is lonely and she want to buy pepper spray, then only I remember these kind of instances in school life. Otherwise, and now in life these instances are more popular in Twitter also, in Facebook also. There are only 3 popular and powerful media: Facebook, Twitter and IME. Instagram is meant for celebrities only. No ordinary person gets more than 1,000 or 2,000 views. Sometimes videos get popular, but those videos are also in celebrities only. So innocent and good character people are left behind, stranded in between through manipulation by these kind of teachers, doctors, principals, judges, lawyers, who pretend to be neutral of sins and violence or crimes. That's why other people are stranded and they treat godly miracles as their path. Without godly miracles, they can't move a single step. And when they are united, at the most they can gather at a religious place. And what will they attain? They have to donate there also. And they will not fight for food. They will not quarrel in the quiz, they will just accept any kind of snacks or tea also, and then they will return back. They will utilize only 10% of their donation money, and that 10% also is neutralized halfway through travel expenses. Another 90% is the charity or donation. So good character person utilize 5% of his charity, and the 95% gets transferred to the religious place or charitable organization. But bad character people used to visit any place, any venue, any marriage going on in the surroundings, and when they are kicked, sometimes they are kicked, sometimes poor people are kicked and they are prevented because no one will believe because of their dresses, and the host will be humiliated. On the other hand, during Kali Yuga, if the poor people or the sons or daughters of the cooks and the waiters who might have visited that venue, knowing from the other neighbors or slum clusters to get some snacks or food, they are kicked out. But in reality, if any good dressed person visit that place, and he will eat everything and go away. And these SKIF team, what did they used to perform? You can't even imagine the deteriorated character of these people. They used to bring dresses in their school bags, and there were a lot of functions surrounding our school. And in the toilet, they used to change the dress after the school is over. And then they visit the nearby wedding venues and parties. And they used to keep the bags in the canteen, in our canteen. And our canteen owner was very honest. He used to keep those bags since it was open till 4 p.m. and they used to attend the morning parties and whatever going on, Sagan and whatever, without informing that who had sent them and returned back. No one was feeling suspicious just because of the number of visitors and their familiar faces. They think that any surrounding person or neighbor has sent them, and they used to consume food from there and then return back. Now they say, okay, Cambridge can provide admission to anyone, but Presidium is a great school. These kind of flashes are existing in this country. And when they get support from teachers and daily girls, they become more and more confident, and then they start annoying others, abusing others, trying to destroy the social network sites through sequential acceptance or rejection of Facebook friendship requests.